Welcome to the July 25 Real Estate Market Pulse. I'm going to give you an insight at what the market is doing once a month. I'm going to start out with Texas and we're going to take it from there, and we're going to talk about how a specific market is doing, and then we're going to expand that and talk about how that affects the entire country. And Texas has seen a crazy change over the past 12 months, so I wanted to start here. This episode is all about the great rebalancing of Texas. Let's start macro and bigger picture, and then we will start to narrow things down and get a little bit more into the micro. Texas has recently just hit its biggest inventory in the past 10 years, and everything is changing. Active listings are up over 15%, and Austin alone has seen a 43% increase. Stick around until the end, and I will tell you exactly what this means, whether you're buying, selling, or investing. We're going to start macro and talk about rates and affordability. Then we're going to get into a city heat index. I'm going to talk about specific cities and how hot and cold they are. Then we're going to talk about what investors are doing right now. And then we're going to wrap this up and answer questions that you actually have that can move the needle for you. All right, let's start macro right now. The 30-year mortgage is at 6.81% right now, which is a little less than it was in May. It was a little over 7% then. And this is the new normal. I know everybody wants rates to come down, but they're not going to come down anytime soon. We have to get used to buying houses at 6 to 7% because it's not going to be below 6% for a long time. And if you look historically, we are pretty average right now. Rates have been in the double digits before. The recent decline in rates, those 3-4% rates, those are not normal. So let's go back and get used to the new normal, which is where they should be. The entire US inventory is up 13%. So this is not just a Texas thing. As I told you earlier, Texas is up about 15% overall. So it is more than the national average. However, the national average has gone up also. And builders around the country are adding to the supply, which is what is needed. In Texas alone, there's been 165,000 building permits to build houses, which is what we need because from 2008 to 2018, we did not add and build enough houses. It sounds kind of counterintuitive. We have a lot of houses out there, but we do need more houses. As soon as the demand starts to catch up, we will again be behind on supply. And nationwide, days on market has gone up to 50, which historically isn't bad, but that is 8 more days than it was last year at this time, meaning it takes about a month and a half, almost 2 months to sell a house across the country. San Antonio, Dallas, and Houston are all feeling the exact same thing. They're around 45 to 50 days. All right, let's talk specifically about some cities and the heat indexes in those cities. Austin has seen the biggest swing. The average house price in Austin is $560,000. Which sounds high, but that's down 4.6% year over year. To put that into perspective, nationwide during 2007 to 2008, the biggest crash we've seen in history, prices went down 9.7% in a year. So it's not that bad, but 4.6% is almost half of that. So in Austin, they've seen about half of what we saw in 08. The days on market in Austin is about 48. And there's over 17,000 listings, which is up 43%. And over 51% of houses see a price drop. My take here is Austin flew too close to the sun. It's hot there too, so kind of an inside joke there. And they got burned. They grew too quickly, prices rose too quickly, and now they are seeing the biggest pullback as demand has slowed because affordability is high. All right, let's talk about Dallas-Fort Worth now. The median price in Dallas is about $368,000, which is down 4.7%. Days on market is 41, and they have about 8,000 active listings, which is up about 39% year over year. The price cuts there are happening on about 40% of houses, so not quite what you're seeing in Austin, but still pretty substantial. Buyers seem to have choices again because of how much inventory is out there, and there's not that many buyers currently looking, and that gives them options, and they're looking for a little bit more of a deal because they have a little bit more power. Houston has been a little bit of a resilient outlier. The median price in Houston is $339,000, which is down about 1% year over year, so not too bad. They have about 37,000 listings because they're such a huge market. That's putting them up about 35% year over year. Houston seems to be holding the line, and that's because affordability is still somewhat under control there. Lastly, before we get onto what investors are doing, San Antonio, similar to Houston, is holding its ground because of affordability. The median price in San Antonio is $275,000, which is actually up 2% year over year. Days on market is 49, which is a little bit higher than you'd like to see. However, their year-over-year supply is flat. So if you're looking for value and consistency, San Antonio can be your play. All right, now let's talk about what investors are doing there, and this can parlay to whatever market you're looking to invest in, because I'm picking Texas because it's a hot market. A lot of people live there and it's a great example, but the things that investors are doing can 100% be transported to any other market that is feeling it like Texas is feeling it. Over the last couple of years, a lot of people got into flipping because the supply was low, houses were selling very quickly, and it was harder to buy rentals. That is starting to see a little bit of a reversal. In Texas and across the country, there are more people figuring out how to buy rentals and be long-term landlords. Now, Austin's probably the outlier there because of affordability, but these other cities and other cities across the countries are seeing more of an influx of landlords. There are a lot of different reasons for that. One of them is DSCR loans have become more popular, 30-year fixed loans that you can get in the 6%, as opposed to what traditionally people use, which is small local banks that are closer to 8% over 25 years. So if I'm able to get a lower interest rate over a longer period of time, I'm able to lower my monthly payment, therefore cash flow, even with a little bit higher interest rates. And this is a newer thing that a lot of people are just getting access to. A lot more people are targeting value add properties. Surprisingly, a lot of people just put 20% down on properties that are already fixed up. That's harder to do today, especially with the prices that people are asking. So a lot of people are moving towards my model, and what I teach my students, what I try to teach you here is going off market to find distressed properties and get deals that aren't listed, that aren't in any of these numbers that I mentioned earlier because they're off market. And a lot of people are moving to markets that are more affordable in Texas, specifically San Antonio, in places like Tyler, Texas, and in other cities up in the Midwest where, like St. Louis, it's a hot market right now because of affordability. It's all about affordability, inflation, cost to borrow money. All of those things go into your monthly payment or go into your expenses that can take away from your monthly payment. So going to markets that are more affordable is the play. I'm curious, are you seeing the same thing in your market? Go to the comment section right now or after this video and let me know what market you're in and if you're seeing the affordability affect the prices. All right, now let me answer some questions that you're probably thinking. Is it a good time to refinance if you currently have a property in Texas or I guess any other market? And my answer would be yes, if you're going to the right funding sources. So if you're going to these DSCR lenders and if you're in an affordable market that still cash flows, now is not a horrible time to refinance because I don't see rates drastically dropping anytime soon. If I thought that rates were going to go down 1% or so in the next 6 to 12 months, I'd tell you, wait, but I don't see that happening. And if you can pull some money out and still cash flow, I think now is a great time. You also may be wondering, what are institutional buyers doing? Well, institutional buyers like hedge funds, they have pulled back as well, and they are focusing on the affordable markets just like I'm telling you to do. Let's not fight what they're doing. I wish we could, but we can't. If we can't beat them, let's join them and go where they're going and try to carve out some of their market share. You also might be wondering, when are things going to change? Well, nobody knows that for sure, but looking at the numbers, it's very obvious that the country has cycles. You can see it. Over the past several years, it seems like everyone and their brother moved to the south and southeast. Florida, Texas, all these markets were screaming hot for several years. Now the affordability has gotten too high. People don't like the heat that moved from California to Texas. People don't like all the hurricanes and issues and insurance going on in Florida. So people are starting to move back to the coast. It's literally like the country is exhaling and inhaling. They inhaled, everybody kind of moved to the center and the southeast, and now it's exhaling and the coasts are starting to get hot again. Luckily, I'm in the Midwest and that has stayed pretty steady like it always tends to do. In general, the past couple years, whether you're in Texas or New Mexico or New York, has been a little bit tougher of a market. As a nation, over the past couple years, our house prices have remained pretty steady, which is very, very rare. If you look at a historical house price chart, you will see that real estate goes up about 95% of the years. And over the past couple years as a nation, real estate has been flat. Not down a ton. Some markets have gone down, some have gone up because real estate is localized. However, we have seen a bit of a pullback. I feel like we are just waiting for another huge boom. If you look historically over the past 3 times that the market has flatlined for a year or two, that has been followed by a year or two of absolute boom. Now, the reason that has not happened yet is because of affordability. So as soon as inflation continues to go down, as soon as whatever tax cuts Trump's going to do go into place, and as soon as interest rates start to come down, prices will absolutely skyrocket. So I think there is no better time to invest in real estate than right now. Of course, it's not easy, but it is possible to still get deals and get ahead of the next boom that I think we're going to see. If you want help on that, make sure you're subscribed to this channel, you like this video, and check out the description for some free training and resources. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for being here. Like this video, check out this one over here to learn how to invest in real estate with real life examples using other people's money, and I will see you on the next one.